What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining me today. Today is kind of a hard topic for me, to be honest with you, just because I've been shooting with Fujifilm since 2017, 18. It was when I first picked up my X-T3, and at that time, that camera was like so ahead of its time. It really had everything that I wanted in a camera, just like all in one. It had, video features, a lot of great video features, but it could also do great photos. At the time, autofocus was, really good autofocus was kind of not common like it was today. So, an X-T3's autofocus was not all that bad considering, the time that we were in. At that time, you had the A6300, A6400 from Sony, and then you had, a few Canon cameras that were competing, and then you had, like your GH5, which, the autofocus on that camera was not good at all. But let's, fast forward now to 2024, and you have cameras like the X-H2S, which I'm filming on right now. You have the X-T5, you have the X-H2, and, all of these cameras, promise to give us, really, really good autofocus. And I will say that, in the beginning, that was true. The X-H2S had really good autofocus. And then something happened. Firmware 6.0. Now it promised to bring, really good, cool features like, you got the red box, you have improvements in autofocus, and a few minor fixes here and there. So with that being said, I just went ahead and just updated like I normally would. And it happened to be right before a commercial shoot that I was doing for a racetrack. It was just like horse races. So I really needed dependable autofocus, and I I'm not going to be, manually focusing on a dynamic set where I'm just like a one-man band and I'm trying to focus on, getting the footage. So manual focusing was not an option. And I got this camera because I want really good autofocus. So I'm there and I had to record this particular person, and I had to record the horse and a few other different things. So normally I would feel extremely confident with, Fuji's autofocus. I have, basically a center point is what I have, and I put that in the center. It's the medium-sized center point autofocus continuous, and that has always served me extremely well. I've never had any issues, and I was using the 18 to 120 f4, and I figured, let me use eye tracking because, I was doing a little bit of interview work, so I figured, this is going to be perfect. This person is not moving around much. Let's do the eye tracking with the center point autofocus, continuous autofocus. So as you can see here in this footage, you can see that with these settings, the autofocus was pulsing back and forth. And it was extremely annoying because there's nothing that I could do, and I just had to continue recording. The camera was on a gimbal. I had an Atomos Ninja 5 attached, and I had my 18 to 120 f4, and I'm watching this happen on my Atomos, and I'm thinking, no way this is happening right now. I need this footage to be perfectly focused. I cannot have this pulsating, and you can see it in the background. So then after the interview, I thought, okay, this sucks really, really bad. But then what happened was my X-H2S overheated. This is the first time I have ever seen my X-H2S overheat with the fan attachment on the camera. The fan attachment has been on my camera that whole entire day. So when I was inside an air-conditioned space, the camera was, totally fine. But then as soon as I went outside, yes, it was pretty hot outside. It was like 85, between 85 and 90 degrees. but I was recording for about 20 to 30 minutes max. I was recording to the Ninja V, and I was recording to the my X-H2S. I'm using an Angelbird SE card. It's a 512 gig card, so it's very fast. I'm not shooting ProRes. I'm just shooting 4K, 360 megabits a second, 24 frames per second. So I'm not shooting anything that's mind-blowing here. No crazy fast frame rates. And the camera just overheated, and it went straight to the red heat indicator, and the camera just did not allow me to record. Luckily, the Ninja V allowed me to record. So the camera, even though it was hot, even with the fan set to high, it would not allow me to record. So I tapped the record button on the Ninja V, and it allowed me to record the rest of the footage. So the reason I like having the Ninja V is for redundancy. And I also have a LUT that's baked into the footage, so I can show my client what the footage is going to look like, kind of already graded. I'm not going to show them F-Log2 footage. It's going to look terrible. They're not going to understand what's going on. So I figured that the Ninja V is the way to go. I've had moments where the autofocus would just kind of drift off. The eye tracking autofocus would just drift off and just be wherever, not on the person. And I mean, I'm not sure, these are not scenes that are difficult here. These are very basic scenes. And the camera, just for whatever reason, just would not autofocus correctly. Kept pulsating. I lost a lot of footage. So I was so upset and so furious when I came back and I saw the footage that I'm really seriously considering going to another system. I cannot believe that in 2024, I have a flagship camera in front of me and the autofocus is struggling. Like, how can this be happening? Fujifilm, if you're watching this, please help us out. Bring back our autofocus for our X-H2S, X-T5, and X-H2. Please help us out, because this is really not acceptable. We cannot continue on like this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you learned anything new, please let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions, ask, and I will do my best to answer any question. And that is it for me today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.